Alright, we're going to look at a different township and range and just sort of play with the master title plat once again. So again, we'll go down here. We get first on the GLO website. Make sure you're there. Go down to record or land status records. We'll look in Arizona again because that's where I'm based at. Go to Maricopa County. This time we'll go to 7 North 4 West. That's over by Wickenburg in general. Salt Gila Meridian. Master title plat. Now if you don't know your meridian, there's different ways to check it out. Just go into any Google search and type in list of meridians for maps or something like that. Go down here. Wikipedia can be your friend. There's different sites you can go visit. Wikipedia will work. Go to Wikipedia, list of principal and guide meridians and baselines of the United States. Go find your state. Here's Arizona, Gila and Salt River Meridian. That's the most common, is that one. They also have a handy dandy map that shows meridians. So you can click on the map here and zoom in. Gila Salt River Meridian. You'll notice like South Dakota, we'll zoom in there. You have several meridians here. So we got Principal Meridian, which is part of the screen stuff here in South Dakota. You have the Black Hills Meridian, which is this pink, and then it looks like this yellow is part of the 6th Principal Meridian. So depending upon which part of South Dakota in, you may have one of 3 different meridians. Anyhow, so that's one way to go find your meridian. Getting back to it, we'll look at 7 North 4 West, do a land search, master title plats. Again, we're getting the error, so we'll use the full screen viewer again. And again, you can download this as a PDF or JPEG. This one is much busier. Let's open this up real fast. Okay, some things to note on here. We'll zoom in up here. This line right here is the county line. You have Yavapai County, Maricopa County. You got sections 1 through 36. Section 2, I'm not seeing anything about state grant. We're reserving all minerals, SX. Here's the Phoenix. That's some sort of case number. SX waiver. What's that? Well, I don't remember what SX is, so let's look it up. We showed you where to find your abbreviations page, so we will open the abbreviations page, look up SX. State exchange. Okay. So, whoops, let's zoom back out. This was a state exchange land. So most likely this is now part of state trust land. You see the land around it has the thin lines. This one has the thick lines. And sometimes what you want to do is you want to check this with other maps to see if they match up correctly. Like, I'm thinking this is state trust land up here, section 2. Maybe I'm wrong. One of the ways you can check it is go to the MLRS research map and look at land ownership there. Or you can go to the GLO site. Let's back out real fast here. Get to the home. I could have just hit the home button, I guess. Land catalog. So this is a very useful page too. So let me show you what this does. Hit land catalog. Should open a map. Alright. Now we are in 7 North 4 West. So let's go back there. We can either zoom in or you can put it in here. I'll zoom in a little more. There is lag time, takes a little bit of time for different layers to show up. Up in the upper right corner you have a little arrow here. If you click on that, these are the different layers that you have available. Now a lot of these are subject to zoom levels, so you have to be zoomed in a certain amount for these different layers to turn on. So they won't turn on until you get to a certain level. Let's close this. Looks like we have to wait a little bit while it's loading. Okay, so now the townships have loaded, so we'll zoom in here. We said 7 north, 4 west, and we were curious about section 2. So we'll zoom in real close. Ooh, not that close. Back up, back up. There we go. So here's section 2. And it looks like we own land, or the federal government owns land. It's public domain at this time. So it was originally part of state selection, but it was reconveyed back in some way, shape, or form to the federal government. So that's good to know. Now you can see section 16 is blue, which is state trust land. We'll open this up. And you can see down here, light blue is state trust land, yellow is BLM, and private is white. It's not actually turned on. I'll turn it on. It just covers up the existing white. And when you're doing anything with staking claims and stuff like that, make sure you know if you're on state trust land, private land, or federal government land, because there's different rules for each one. Private land, stay away from. Unless you've got permission from the owner, you're not going to be out there. State trust land, you don't stake claims on state trust land. There's a different process. You have to go through the State Land Department, Arizona State Land Department. Different process. BLM land, Forest Service land, those are areas you can stake claims if they're open to mineral entry. Anyhow, so let's go look at section 16 here. Here we go. You can see section 16 is state grant, so it sort of correlates with what you saw on the other map. Now over here you got quite a hodgepodge and mess of things going on. With all these solid lines, that means that these are going to be private lands. You can see here we reserve ditches and canals. Here we reserve ditches, canals, and all minerals. Oh, sorry, that points to this little piece right here. A lot of them are just ditches and canals. Sometimes you see some where all minerals are reserved. That means even though we sold the surface, we're reserving the mineral rights for the federal government. Now here's an interesting one. It says MTP lease and gives a number, and on the same side, or the opposite side, you have sort of the same thing. So O is order, CL is classification, RMPP is recreation and public purposes, and NOM, I don't think it's nominated. I think it has something to do with no mineral entry or something like that. We can look these up though. So jump back to our, oops, not our meridian code, but our abbreviations. Where's RMPP? RMPP is right here, recreation and public purpose lease. Those are leases BLM gives to local governments, state, county, city governments for land to use for recreation and public purposes. And usually they go through a process and get evaluated and then sold to those government entities. SX, whoa. Oh, we had NOM. Let's see if that's in here. NOM, not open to mining. Okay, so there is no mineral entry or not open into mining. on that R and PP. O was order. Here's O. We had CL. CL was classification. There we go. Let's close that. So that makes a little more sense. So this chunk right here, for some reason, was under a recreation and public purpose lease. We could look that number up, see what entity it's associated with. Over here you got RW, that's a right of way for this road right here. Again, notice on areas where we sold the surface, the road disappears because we don't keep track of roads going through private property on master title plats. It's only for what's happening on federal lands. Scrolling down, you'll see this, and this is pretty common. It says see supplemental plat number 1, supplemental plat number 1, supplemental plat number 2 here, which means that these areas have a lot going on in them. So they couldn't put the details into this map at this scale, so they wanted to zoom in a little bit in order to focus in on what was going on. So how do you get to supplemental plats? Well, glad you asked. Let's go back to the original page. Need to get back to the front. Oh, we're going to have to go all the way back in. Land status record. You get a lot of practice doing this if you do it often enough. Go to Maricopa, 7 north, 4 west, master title plat, any meridian. We'll pick Gila Salt River meridian. Master title plat. Okay, yeah, I don't care if it says that. Let's go to related documents. Go into land survey records, and you're going to see supplemental right here. We want to click on that. And we have 3 sheets. We'll look at the first sheet, see what that covers. It looks like we're going to have to use that full screen viewer thing. So I'll zoom in. This covers sections 17 and 20. So you can see there's a lot going on in here. Zoom in a little more. Ditches and canal and oil and gas were reserved to the United States. This is a little weird. Originally we had this patent. The one on the bottom is usually the first thing going on, first action. So there's a patent, that's a patent number. Ditches and canal were reserved, all minerals were reserved. Then ditches and canals and oil and gas reserved, and it looks like we gave them the minerals under this number. Now sometimes you can find these numbers and look them up and get the details, sometimes you can't. Let's look at this one, 941521. So let's see if we can find that under a patent. Nine four one nine two one. Scroll, 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 scroll. 941521. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's difficult, and sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. So we can click on this to see what Alvin Purdy got in his patent. Let's look at the image. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, this is a legal description. I like to zip down to see where the reservations are. Here we go. Accepting and reserving, however, to the United States all the coal and other minerals in the land so entered and patented, together with the right to prospect for, mine, and remove the same. So in this case, that was the patent where we gave them we didn't give them minerals, we reserved the mineral rights. So let's back out of that. Oh, I forgot what. Yeah. Nope, we wanted to go, I'm sorry. Go back into land status records supplemental. Sheet 1. Oh, screen. And I was going to see if we could find this right here and see what that says. Because it looks like we gave them the minerals back, maybe. And we reserved ditches, canal, and oil and gas. So this is 283.0014. Let's see if we can find that. Here's 295.003. Okay, I'm not seeing the other one that we're looking for. And sometimes that happens. You don't always find what you're looking for. But let's see what else we have on that page that we might want to look up. So I showed you how to find the supplemental plats. Let's see what supplemental plat number 2 looks like. Oops. We'll back out. Go in here. So we'll go back in here, look up supplemental plats. Look up sheet number 2. That should be for the next area. Again, if these aren't working, hit the full screen viewer, see if that works. And we'll zoom in. Okay, so we got some interesting stuff going on here. Looks like there's some BLM land or federal land here. Looks like we got a patent right here. Reserves ditches and canals to the U.S. Here's a patent number. We've got a case file for BLM for a right-of-way for this, which looks like a railroad. Over here, here's another patent, reserving ditches canal. Here, you can tell by the thick lines around it that this is all private. Ditches and canals are reserved, but this is a mineral survey, so that's interesting. We could look up this mineral survey. We could also look up the patent. Let's look up the mineral survey. We've already done that once, but we'll do another one. See if we can find that. 42.99 is for 12 acres, almost 13 acres, 42.99. So we'll go into surveys. See if we can find the mineral survey, supplemental surveys. Here's mineral survey. Here's 42.99. We can click on that. It's the Malibu Placer, or Placer, depending upon which part of the country you're from. And again, I told you about these mineral surveys. They usually have really cool maps. So we'll go into the plat image. Okay, this one isn't working. That one's not working. Let's try full screen. There we go. I'm going to pull this out by itself. This is a really cool one. So you'll see it has the name, Malibu survey, claim, name of the claimant, location, scale, who did the surveying. It was back in 45. We can zoom in a little bit. Oh, they've got a lot of information on here. That's pretty cool. They got store and house. Can't quite read what that says. You got a cabin, a store. Discovery cut probably is what that means. You got a fence right here. That's probably another discovery cut. It looks like you got a wash coming through, wash here and here. So they're working these washes for gold. You got the legal description. A surveyor would be able to go out there, find these points, and actually using this data, alignments and footage, be able to actually find all the sink corners associated with this. Pretty cool. All right. Back out of that. Anyhow, that's a brief tutorial on using and finding and dealing with master title plats. Hopefully you have enough information to get started on this. You can always ask questions, put them in the comments, whatever you want to do. I'll help you whenever I can. But also go on to this site, Land Matters. They have a lot of tutorials. They've got a lot of good stuff in here that you might find useful. If you go into their maps, if you want to go into mining claims, and this is very useful. They pull their data, I believe, right from our MLRS database with BLM. Go into Arizona mining claims. Let's see what we got going on. Give it a sec. We'll zoom into that area. And these maps take a little bit of getting used to, because certain things, they work differently, just put it that way. But once you play with them, you get used to it. Now, you got different colors here. They don't have a really good legend over here, but I believe on this page they described it. So, well, I'm not seeing it on, oh, here we go. Don't mind me scrolling, going under claims. So orange is a placer claim, blue is a load claim. It says mill site or tunnel, but you're not going to see a lot of mill sites and tunnel claims on here. They're mainly going to be load claims or placer claims. And then the new claims will have this on them. It'll sort of be orange with a yellow line around it, looks like. Let's getting back to the maps. We can zoom in a little more. This is pretty cool. You can hit the I here, and this will give you some information on these claims. So you can drag the corner out so you can see it if you want. Here we have claim name Rogers 34-1, Rogers 34-2, placer claim associated with the claimant's Rattler Resources. Also, there's load claims in the area. You can also over here turn on the land manager if you want to see who's managing the land, or the public land survey system. And you notice it doesn't pop up right now. You have to hit the refresh button, just so you remember. That's one of the weird things about this. But now you can see the landowners. Right here, this sort of yellowish color is BLM, purplish color is state trust land. And you can double check that. Hit your eye here and just click in purple. And you're going to see public survey system, land manager. So land manager is state, purple. Click on yellow, land manager, sort of this weird tan color is BLM. And here are all the claims associated with those lands. Now what's sort of cool is you could actually use this to find the claim on MLRS. Here, I'll show you real fast. We'll just highlight that, copy it. And how do you find the Mineral Land Record System for BLM? Just type in MLRS BLM. Mineral Land Record System, open that site up. Go down here to access MLRS. And if you're going to do this a lot, you might want to set up an account so you can log in. You don't have to. Then in the search bar, you can just paste in the claim number and hit search, and you're in the system, and it tells you about the plasters here. So these are different claims. We'll click on one of them and show you what you can get out of here. Here's the case file number. Here's the product. It's a plaster claim. Acreage is 20 acres. Case number, serial number, the lead file number. Sometimes there's multiple claims associated together, and they have one lead file number and then a bunch of other file numbers associated with them. Not sure if I'm explaining that correctly or not. Disposition date, length, width, things like that. You can go into the land records. This will give you a legal land description here. 14 is the Gila and Salt River Meridian. So you always see this on most of the claims for the legal land description. And it's 7 north, 4 west. Not sure what all that is. This is a subdivision, southwest quarter or southeast quarter. Related records. So these are case actions. Oops, let's get out of here. So you can see in July 24th, 2025, they paid their maintenance fee, so they're paid up. Case customers, this should tell you a little bit about who owns it. It's owned by Rattler Resources. If you click on that, you can just hover over it and you'll get their mailing address. Click on it, you should probably just get the same information. Oh, they have a contact name even. Okay. And mailing address. And that's how you can do a search in MLRS with anything you find on these maps. Alright, that concludes the video. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comments section, and I'll try to leave some useful links in the section down below. Let me know what you thought.